Are we ready? Are we ready? Good morning,
Yes,
world.
we are. Good morning. Let's just check whether whether the technology is with us or not. Just my eye, I have to do that in every life. My eyes have to be clear. No, I'm kidding. I just saw that it's like I have teary eyes. So let's check. Am I on live on my own page? Yes, we are. Cool.
Yay.
Good morning.
Good morning, Selena.
Good morning, Alina.
And good morning, world. And what are we going to talk about, Selena?
We are going to talk about a new book. Or we can just say that we're going to tell stories. Or we are going to tell stories about stories. Whatever you like, whichever you would like.
What kind of stories are we going to talk about?
Oh, entity stories. Hey, entity, ghosts, magic, like elves and spirits of the nature. Yeah, those entities.
Cool. But let's start with some very brief details, for people who will look at us in the future. So we are talking today about the amazing Selena Ardelean, super talented, who released a book called Stories of the Unseen.
Yeah.
And oh my God, I mean, my skin is crawling. I wonder why. I read half of it.
Already?
Oh, yes.
Okay, cool.
And, I had a list of questions that I would have liked you to answer. And just now I go, okay, Selena, tell us about this book. Tell us how, tell us when, tell us why, if there is a why.
Okay. This is kind of structured, and this is also compelling to go back to where it all started, and I'll do my best. But let's put it this way. Entity awareness has been like part of my life ever since I was a child. And I'm actually writing into the book that my father was the first one to tell me, never settle for what meets the eye. There's always more, question it. And the context was communist Romania, where people were keeping secrets when we knew that if we talk too much and if we say too much, we never know what happens. So we were, as children, we were drilled to shut up, not tell the secrets of the family. And lo and behold, in our family, people were coming at our place. They were having fun behind the closed kitchen door. And as kids, we were like, like eavesdropping, but like big time. And it's also a sort of curiosity that got developed over there, but also this fear of watch out, because what you say might not be what you think it is. It can have consequences. So there are a lot of instances when I was totally aware of entities, not in a dramatic way, in a playful way, but I didn't have the language to speak about them, and I didn't know what to do with them. So it's not something like it hit me on my 44th birthday that I'm entity aware. No, it wasn't. But it is on the 44th year of my life that I became aware of this urge of expressing something that most of the world is not talking about. So this is like, the fancy introduction, but basically how this book started, I was feeling so low because one of the projects that I had somewhere in the beginning of the year was not going round. And I took 3 days away from my life, as if you can ever take a holiday from your life. And I remember asking my husband, find me a place to go away from you. And he looked up on the internet and he was coming up with all these ideas. This is not good. I don't like this. This is it. And then he said, but why do you ask me to sit around and find something for you? And I said, you're right. I sat down, I opened the computer, and I clicked on the first location that came to my eyes. Lo and behold, it's I don't know which century church that has been transformed into a hotel. or actually part of the church, has been transformed into a hotel during the years, and it kind of ignited the writing process. I went there with a notebook, with a bottle of red wine, with my laptop, and I said, okay, universe, help me go through this, because I took it very bad. Whatever happened back then, it was like the expression of my no worth. The project didn't go through, so I'm useless. Now, when I look back, I know that there were other plans involved. And actually, a lot of stories in the book started to be written. That was the moment when I started to write them down during those 3 days, somewhere in March. So if you're considering that right now we are what? June?
June 22nd, 3rd.
You have an idea how long it took. So yeah, does it answer your question?
Actually, that wasn't a question. It was just to kick off the conversation, because I do have other questions or actually awarenesses. And thank you so much for putting all those stories in that book. And just as we talked yesterday, I browsed through it. I read a few pages here, a few pages there. And then this morning, I go in the, hold on. It was absolutely beautiful, I go in the mirror and I say, okay, body, what shall we wear? What kind of jewelry? And guess what? Pearls. And I said, okay, pearls, fine. I had no point of view about it. I didn't say, oh, I don't like them all. And then I come back to your book.
I know.
You know what I'm going to talk about, right? I'm going to talk about that fragment where you talk about the pearls, how you were, strangely, I was particularly attracted by pearls. I had never liked them, right? And I was going, oh, okay, thank you, book. This is what you and the world of entities around you desired for me to wear today. And I'm feeling wonderful, wearing those. So how many times are we actually distrusting our perceptions, our entity awareness, right?
We do. And basically we do that because nobody around there is to come and tell us, yes, you're right, no, you're wrong. And we are so drilled to look for the right answer. And entity awareness doesn't come from your head. Entity will talk to you, and you will think you have some voices in your head. This can be too, but they are not going to the rational mind. They are talking to you in subtle ways. And it's very interesting because, this book is how should I say? It's instances of life that became much clearer when I had the tools to go beyond this fear and uncertainty and what will people say. You go on the street and you see something and something crosses your eyes and you look there and there's nothing, and you hear something, you turn your head, all of a sudden you have an epiphany, but there's nobody to have said that. How do you explain that to people around you? I don't know about you, how you talk about this kind of stuff in your families, but we were not talking about this other than paranormal phenomenon. This is how I talked about with my father, but that's, how should I say, that's the thinnest layer ever. So when I met Talk to the Entities, and this is a huge shout out to the Talk to the Entities and Access Consciousness and Shannon O'Hara and Gary Douglas and then here, when I met the tools of Talk to the Entities, everything became clearer. It's clear. It brought like this lightness and ease of, oh my God, you want to say that I'm not crazy? Oh my God. So I'm not inventing stuff. On the back of the book, I really write like, have you ever been accused of making up stuff? Now, this is something that I have been pointing fingers to, that I have a vivid imagination, that I'm inventing stuff. Now I come and tell you, and what if you did? What if you did? What have people decided that it's so wrong in imagining stuff. Because when you go to it's wrong, you're not going to allow yourself to know your truth. What if you're not imagining? What if it just shows up in a way that only you can see, know, perceive, or receive those things? Are you not going to have them in your life just because nobody else has them? And it's not about, it sounds so dramatic, but look at your pearls. There's a beautiful story about pearls. It's my favorite, actually. I mean, each and every one of them is my favorite, but the pearls are literally my favorite story. And it happened in Australia. I'm not going to tell you the gist, but it was such a beautiful and soft and I would almost say fluff awareness of what entity awareness can be. No drama, no trauma, no nothing. And beyond that, I'm inviting people to stories that I have been living all over the world. Just showing the people that entity awareness is everywhere. It's not just in their backyard, or not just at the computer, or not just in their heads. It's everywhere.
So basically we are carrying them with us, right? We have them.
We kind of hold on to some of them, but some of them invite us to other places to make experiences in other places, like Mexico. Look at my friend Pablo there.
Hello, Pablo.
And this is Rodrigo. You will hear about Rodrigo in the book. Hello, chicas. He's my favorite guy. You can read the story in the book, but actually they are everywhere. And when you don't have a point of view that they are good or bad, and when you're willing to be curious and say, okay, so what's there? What's this? What do I know about this? What else can I know about this? Oh, can we talk together? Can we collaborate? Because what I, as a facilitator, come across is a lot of people have this awareness of entities, but it's charged with so much significance. Oh, there's an entity here. Yes, and? Yes, but and? Your house is an entity. It shelters other entities, possibly. And you live together peacefully, and you see corners of your house like blooming. You will feel attracted to certain parts of your house. That's a contribution. It's like, but other people say, no, it's an entity, it has to disappear. I don't want to. Why not?
Is it fear? Is it fear? Are we afraid?
Is it fear or is it excitement?
Yeah.
I would like to say, because, okay, so how do you know when it's fear and when it's excitement? Exactly. Have you ever been on a roller coaster? You know, if you're anything like me, you don't like it. You have already decided from the beginning you don't like it, because people shout, because people scream, because everybody's like out of control.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they come down, they have this smile on their faces. They don't know what happened, but it was something. But in the body, it's the same. It's like this stomach thing, like, I cannot breathe, and I'm like peeing my pants. And yeah, but if it were fear, would you really be up in that roller coaster? Or is it curiosity and something else, and it's the intensity of the experience that you cannot control that makes you turn it into, I'm afraid. Yeah. Of what? Of who?
Of being yourself, of allowing yourself to know that you know more than you were told that you know.
That.
Yeah. Truly. And this book is really inviting us to look beyond that and beyond, oh my God, what will people say if I mention this and that? And I'm going to share with you a very short story like this about entity. When we were building the house that now we live in, I was kind of dabbling into this entity world, right? And doing an intro here, an intro there. And I was, okay, everybody said, and you said it just now, your house is an entity. Well, guess what? I started talking to my house, which was then being built, right? So it was like a Lego that you put a piece on top every day. And things changed in the way that the neighbors, you know, we had some nasty neighbors, and the neighbor died in the end. Not that I wished it.
I almost made a comment, but I'm taking a sip of coffee.
Take a sip of coffee. And the ease that we started having building this house, finishing this house, enjoying the hard work of building a house and, you know, decorating it, was like, oh my God. And every day I started feeding my husband this idea of, what if we talk to the house and asked it to the ease doing this, you know? And so, yeah, it's such a vast world. It's such a vast territory that we haven't explored, we haven't learned about. So guys, do yourselves a favor and read the stories of the unseen.
And just, okay, so if you're looking for truths, they are not there. If you're looking for answers, I'm sorry to disappoint you, they're not there. What I have put on those pages are glimpses of everyday life. When having access or allowing myself to have access to entity awareness made things much more ease, much more light. That I could laugh at them. Some of them started me in the beginning. But when you go into, oh, wow, oh, I wonder what else is there, then it's a totally different perspective. And I was talking to Alina just before we started about my cup. Some of you know the story of this cup. I ordered it on internet and it came like when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. It's my style, dark blue with gold and delicate and yeah. But then I rinsed it and I made myself a coffee. And the first sip that I took, I choked. And it came out exactly the same way it came in, like out through my mouth. And I was like, what is this? And when I asked this question, what is this? What am I aware of? This is key. This is key. If there's nothing that you're taking out of that book, but this question, what am I aware of? That's something that's going to open up, you know, like universes of stuff. My husband is coming and going and the door is screeching because we're talking about entities. Let's make it creepy, right? So
I love it.
And we have the how do you say, the audio background, and we have the characters sitting there. We have everything.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder whether you can hear the drilling noise from the neighbor's house. Maybe not.
No,
I closed all the windows and I said, oh, okay, that's interesting. It was quiet until then, but okay.
Yeah, we're drilling into the world of entity awareness. We should have called this thing like not a dive. We should have called it drilling.
Drilling, yeah.
So I was saying that I got the cup and then I asked, what am I aware of? And that particular moment, I had this perception. People ask me, how do you see entities? I don't see them. I don't see them. There's a holographic perception of some kind, or it's just, I don't know how to explain that. And I invite each and every one of you to not settle for, you have to see them, you have to hear them, you have to smell them. No, go for what you know about them, and then explore and be curious about that. So I had this perception of this old lady, like the energy of nobility, somebody from nobility, like a very straight, stiff back, and the tight dress, you know, all those corsets, and the hair up. This is what I got as image, and I was like, and she was making sure that not everybody is going to drink from her cup. And I was like, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having guarded the cup to come to my place. I promise I will take good care of it and I will enjoy each and every coffee I'm drinking from it. It's been a while. I haven't chosen this cup. For those who know me, know that I'm like, you know, and this morning it asked to be here and to be talked about. It's not in the book, but it's something that happens each and every day. If you're willing to ask a question, what am I aware of? I wonder how many stories you, those who watch, can write about entity awareness.
Was she wearing pearls?
What?
Was she wearing pearls?
No, she wasn't. No, she wasn't. No, those pearls are like, you see some of the pictures with the pearls around my neck. Strangely enough, they didn't ask today to be here, but these earrings asked to be there, and they come from Mexico. And Mexico is also in the book. It's a chapter in the book, and you will discover more about that when you read it, if you read it. If you don't, okay, let me know when you write your book on entity awareness. I will read it.
And it's so interesting that you were talking earlier about do not try to see entities or, perceive them your own way, because actually I don't hear them talk or anything, but I have a different way of perceiving them. So this is an invitation for all of us. Hey guys, we don't have to have all the same ways.
Oh, it would be so boring.
Yeah, exactly. And they are not boring, right? The entities.
Never.
Never boring.
Never. It's you know what? They're happy to know that you would like to know more. And when you open up, they will come to show you even more. They will. Are you willing to receive what they're gifting you?
A question came to mind now about entities, and maybe this is the place or this is not the place. You will tell me. Are they always happy, joyful light, or they can be...
Are you always joyful, happy, light? Yeah, okay.
Love it.
So yeah, so when it comes to dead people, most of them keep their characteristics. Like you will recognize the person based on the points of view they had about themselves, and you recognized in them. It doesn't mean that they are that person. It's their entity, but somehow it makes it easier for you to recognize that person. This is one. And then have you ever met people who are not happy, who are always grumpy, who are what? So just remember, entities, most of them are dead people. Bodies are no longer there, but the being is there. So some can be very generous, and some can be very stupid, and some can be very naughty. And this is what I say always in my classes as well. The way you relate to people in everyday life is going to inform the way you relate to entities.
Say that again. We don't have an oracle. Say that again if you can.
The way you relate to people in everyday life. Are you somebody who's pleasing? Are you somebody who steps down very easily? Are you somebody who's dominant? Are you somebody who's a leader? The way you're treating people in your life every day is going to inform the way you are treating entities in in the unseen world. So what is it? Are you somebody who, how should I say, easily gets overwhelmed, which is not the concept that... I wonder what the invitation is from the entities for you to step up. Because sometimes with entities, like with little children, when they know that you perceive them, they come and start and jump around and they want all your attention. So what do you do when you have so many children around you? Do they step over your head? Do they drive you mad? Do you... or you know exactly what your position is and what your energy has to be that moment to deal with them.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. Wow.
You're welcome. It's exactly that. Are you somebody who's, oh, let somebody come and help me? oh, well, guess what? There might be people without bodies who would like to come and help you, but doesn't mean that they have your best interest, because you have already given up what you knew, where you know that you can help yourself. So a lot of stuff to talk about entities.
Yeah.
But coming back to the stories, one of the things that I wanted to make clear is that significance kills curiosity. And if you have heavy stories on your back placed by others, or if you learn from somebody else to be scared of entities or make them stronger than you are, I'm sorry. You are the source and the creator of your life. No entity is stronger than you are. So basically, these stories are inviting you to go to the interesting point of view, to the curiosity of what else is there, and to the constant question of what am I aware of, without adding the interpretation of, oh, this happened, it means this. It doesn't. It doesn't. Oh, I'm aware of entities. Oh, so many entities. And I would go to, so is it relevant? There might be some entities that, there's a very, very, very dear story to me in the book with the lady in the channel of Brussels.
That was the first one I read.
Yeah. So I will tell the story. It's not something that's unknown, but it's like for 17 years now, 16, 17 years. When I came to Brussels, my husband brought me to the apartment where he was living back then. And we went along the channel. And I always had this panic attack. If you leave me here, I don't know what is going to happen. And how should I say, irrational, didn't have any. And every time we would go there, my husband would look at me and say, haha, if I leave you here. And I would have this, stop it, we would laugh about it, but this unease would always be there. Until one day, when I started to feel sick, I couldn't breathe. I literally was, I opened the door, I opened all my clothes. And then it was an awareness in a fraction of a second of this lady who died in the channel of Brussels and just stayed in a loop of bad memories and not knowing how to get out of it. So the tools, I'm inviting everybody to go and check out the tools of Talk to the Entities. They help you know how to deal with these kind of situations and how to bring much more light and ease in the entity world as well. It's not only for you, it's for them as well.
It's never only for us, right? It's
Never.
not like we are an entity that is isolated from the world.
Never.
There is always, streams of energy going out of us, into us. Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And beyond this, I mean, aside and I'm saying aside not to minimize it, but aside the entity awareness in your book, what I loved is the way that you describe and invite everybody who reads and encourage everybody who reads to be themselves in life and in everything that we experience. And it was so, I just jotted down some words, trust me, my awareness, my perceptions, and unapologetically and unashamedly be me.
That.
I mean, truly, how does it get better than this? Having entity awareness, being yourself, having fun in life, and discovering.
And changing the world.
And changing the world.
Yeah, it's not. And thank you for that, because that part with a major. So, as I told you yesterday, because we were talking, of course, we were talking before this. As I told you yesterday, I never doubted my writing, my skills in writing, in any of the languages I'm writing in. But when I wrote this book, I stopped at least 2 times, and I was not overwhelmed, but really in an intense moment of, am I willing to come out? Because this is like a coming out, it's like, hey, I knew this, I know this. We have conversations with the kids, with my husband, like on a, how should I say, like in a bubble. I also give classes. It's also a bubble. But am I willing to let the whole world know that each and every one of us has this capacity to communicate with entities, to talk to the entities, to receive from them, to collaborate with them, to share moments of awareness with them. And it was very beautiful because Faye Thompson, the one who's like has curated the edition and from the Big Moose Publishing House, she said, you know, Gary Douglas says that when you change one person's life, you are a success. And she said, you changed mine. I thought I knew what this entity awareness was. And when I read your book, it's like, and I'm like, thank you. Because to be honest, I wrote them. I was a co-creator, but a lot of the stories who are in the book have been, how should I say, pointed to by my, you know, by my committee, let's call it like that, by my committee of entities.
Yeah. That.
So yeah, I would like to thank everybody who's watching and everybody who bought this book or who thought about buying this book or who is tickled by this book. You don't have to buy it to be aware, but you can be aware and deepen your awareness, you know, like take a dive with this book as well. And I'm so thrilled to say that it reached bestseller in Canada and in the Netherlands and in Brazil. And it was #1 releases on the 21st of June on Amazon.
Thank you. I was looking for these details and I couldn't. Thank you.
And it's like, it's not to, you know, this book, you know, this. No, it's an acknowledgement that when you know what you know, nobody can take it away from you. And it doesn't matter when this or where this happens. So this is like, it starts, how should I say that? I wished it would go global. One of my biggest dreams was each and every person in this world, or at least on each and every continent, somebody is going to read this book, and this book is going to shift, mold, transform realities just by reading it. And it has happened. So it's not to brag, but it's to acknowledge, yes, the world is changing. As simply as reading a book.
Definitely. And I would like to end this, if you allow me, of course. Oh my God. I just want to read a fragment, just a short fragment from the Pearl.
And I'm going to cry because I don't have my book yet in printed form. It's reached everywhere in the world and I don't have it yet. So
there's so much lightness in your book, you know, and the way you put things and the invitation to this world and to the being ourselves. Again, I come back to it because for me, this was a big thing. So thank you, Selena, for this. And I'm just going to read a fragment, right? So you say, I wanted to practice with receiving judgments and ask for what I would really desire as you were walking along a street in Noosa, Queensland. All the shops were looking posh, elegant, and certainly for rich people. It felt as if there was a huge blinking sign above their entrances saying, not for you, keep out. It annoyed me to be licking the windows and not daring to go inside. There were also a lot of antique shops. They were pulling me in. I could look at the objects in the window and imagine their lives before they landed on display. Strangely, I was particularly attracted by pearls. I had never liked them. I used to think that they were so out of fashion that only old dried up spinsters who smell like sweet, heavy powder perfumes would wear them. Yet, there I was, obsessively looking for pearls. And oh my God, this is such a beautiful, yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for writing it. Thank you for coming and talking to us here about it. And what else is truly possible now?
Thank you for the willingness to open this book. It is a book when there is a reader, you know, and whatever the subject of any book, if you're willing to read for insights, not only for the information, that's when I, as a writer, have succeeded. So thank you so much for all of this. It really plunges me in. Yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Selena. Thank you, everyone. And lectura plăcută. Have a nice read.
Thank you so much. Have fun.
Have fun. Bye.
Bye.